Right. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Wednesday live stream. If you're here, you probably saw on Twitter already. But basically, I ran 50 copies. I got 50 copies of BaseCode printed. It's actually, here you go. Don't even need to have Twitter. Look, there it is. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to have them printed. You know, ebooks fine, as I said, but like having a printed copy, like, I don't know, maybe I'm old school, but like I like the feel of a book. And again, since I wrote it, it's kind of cool to have on the bookshelf. So now the thing is, I had to get a certain number of these printed. First of all, my high school, not my high school, but where I went to high school, the computer teacher had reached out and said, "Hey, I'd love to get some copies for the bookshop." So they just wanted like 20 or so. I wanted a couple for myself, again, for my own bookshelf. But anyway, I have about 30 left over. And so I thought for fun, what I would do is sell kind of like a limited number of these and, of course, sign them or something. So that's what I want to build. I thought it'd make for a good live stream, if nothing else. So basically make a Laravel project, use Cashier to just kick them over to checkout. I actually quickly, while I was waiting, created just kind of a test, some test data here for BaseCode print edition out on my Stripe account. So we're just in test mode here. I'll go through all this, but really that's all I've done so far. I basically logged into Stripe, made a quick test product here for the BaseCode print edition for it to kind of link up. So I've written no code. I just kind of jumped into test mode, signed in, so I didn't have to do all that live. So that's really all. That's all I've done so far. So let's jump in together now, the actual part. So again, this isn't so much about like selling the book per se, as it is, again, how quickly, to kind of demonstrate how quickly I can bring up something with Laravel and start selling a product, right? Whether it's a digital or a physical product, again, doesn't matter. So let's crank it out. All right, so command line, right? Let's just say Laravel new BaseCode print. Yeah, whatever. That's fine. I probably should have said --git. Oh well, that's okay. All right, we'll let everything install. We'll go into BaseCode print. All right, cool. And then yeah, let's do git init ourselves. I forgot that part. I always forget that part. In my opinion, it should just be the default. Let's just do git add dot, git commit -m, and we'll say Laravel new, just the command I ran. Pretty straightforward. What else do we need to do? New Laravel project. I don't really need to run this or anything right now. So the plan here is Laravel new, bring in Cashier, do a quick hookup to have it to test that, and then probably like Tailwind UI e-commerce page, right? Template, and just really, really simple. I mean, at the end of the day, like this will live underneath the BaseCode field guide. There'll be some like, print edition or something. There'll be something like this, right? So you'll go here and it'll get uploaded to this part of the site. But for now, let's just make a new project, self-contained. We'll go from there. Okay, so next up, let's do Stripe, right? There we go. Composer require Cashier. Kaboom. All right, what else we got to do? After installing, publish the migrations. Do I need to publish the migrations? I probably don't need to publish these, and I'm gonna do it for thoroughness, but these migrations, we can look at them here in a second, but these migrations are really more for like the subscriptions and so forth. I mean, I'm using like the minimal set of Cashier here. I'm really just using it to create a checkout link, which I don't even need to do. I could just have that be a hard link on the site that I get from Stripe. So because I'm not using like subscriptions, recurring purchases, storing of credit cards, any of that kind of stuff, like I'm not even using a Stripe customer, I don't need these migrations. I'm going to do it though. I'm going to do it for thoroughness, to complete the install following the directions. Okay, let's go ahead and run this. All right, cool. So we've got everything got ran. All right, so we're just using SQLite database. That's totally fine. We don't need to publish any of that. Let's keep going down the line here. Okay, so first of all, I got this little command, get working directory. This just copies the current path so I can go over to PHP Storm and open this up just a bit faster. So let's paste that, BaseCode print, there it is, project root, 75 clicks later, and we're in. I like PHP Storm, but I've griped about this before. Like, I wish, and I'm sure there's a way, maybe I just haven't spent the time to look it up, but like, I wish I could just map a project with like one click, but I'm crazy, I guess. Okay, so into models, user, and it's saying add the billable trait. Again, we're not using much of this, but wow, my iMac is about to take off. We're not using much of this, but again, I do need some of these things to create the actual checkout link, just for convenience. So we'll get down to that here in a second. We don't have a custom model. Let's see here. We will need the keys. I'll go kind of off stream here in a second and plug those in. But for now, let's borrow these and go back to here and here. I'll just put them down at the bottom. We'll fill these in a minute. Okay, no currency, no tax. We can actually just jump way, way down here. Let's go. Okay, so if we look into selling products, before utilizing Stripe Checkout, you need to define products with fixed prices in your dashboard. So that's what I did here. I made this, and again, I'm in test mode, but I made this BaseCode print edition. So we'll get that here in a second. And then we'll need to configure Stripe's webhooks. Now that'll be a bit more of a production thing, but webhooks aren't gonna work in development. Okay, or at least I guess not without some kind of like super fancy. I don't think they can work in. I think you can simulate them, but I don't think they work in development, of course, because you don't have like a publicly accessible callback. So I'm not going to worry about that part, is the point. Offering products, blah, 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 blah. So here we go. We're ultimately kind of looking for something like this. We're going to need the Stripe price ID. Now, we won't actually have users. I'm not going to require a user account. This is going to be a very, very, very lightweight. I mean, technically speaking, I could just link you straight to Stripe's billing portal. Like, I don't even need to make an app, to be quite honest. But just to kind of draw this out into a stream of showing you how to set this up, like, I'm gonna go ahead and make it a tiny little Laravel app. But yeah, honestly, I could just get a payment page directly for this product and, you know, share that directly. But there's some customization and stuff I want people to be able to do. So we're gonna need to draw all that out in a second. But let's finish this checkout bit here. So we're effectively going to do this, but it will be a little bit different. We actually will have what's called a guest checkout. So I think down here somewhere there's like, I think there's like a sub thing for guests somewhere. Let me look it up. Guest. Here we go. Guest checkouts. Oh, I missed it. Okay, it was the bottom thing. Okay, so basically instead of it being a user, we will check out with this kind of guest mode. So let's just borrow this for now. Let's go back to our, oh wait, let's finish our import. There we go. Import that. For now, we'll just throw this in the routes file just like it is in the demo here. So we'll go here and we'll say, we'll just say like BaseCode checkout. Doesn't really matter, right? Let's bring in that. And that's an illuminate. Yeah, client request. Is that right? Client request? Did they change the import? I thought that was just HTTP request. Yeah, I think I chose the wrong one there. Okay, so we need to get our price ID here. So that will probably change per environment. So I think I'll make this, let's go ahead and make this a config option. So we'll say services. Oh my goodness, this happens every time. Okay, fine. Services, I think I need to update PHP Storm. Services stripe price ID. Let's just call it that for now. All right, let's go get this price ID. If I jump in here, there's our price ID. You could copy it from the nav as well. Let's go services. I'll just add a stripe and we say price ID, and this will be env stripe price ID. All right, a lot of extra work there, but this will change between, unfortunately it changes between your test mode and whatever else. So let's do stripe price ID is that. All right, so now I'm gonna need my stripe tokens, but let's just go ahead and do PHP artisan, composer. That was the old school way. Let's do composer run dev, even though I don't have any background tasks. Oh yes, I haven't run npm install yet. Npm install. Looks like I got an old version of npm. I think it'll be fine, hopefully. Okay, actually, while that's running, let me go get these keys. Let's just get these keys real quick. So let's do that. No. That. No. Which one's full screen me? That's the opposite camera. Where's my real camera? Oh my goodness. Why is it selecting this camera? Oh, I see. We want this one. There we go. That's like my iMac camera. That's terrible. Sorry. Okay, let me go get the keys real quick while npm is taking 5 years to install. Where are those? I'm gonna go up to settings and developers, and that's not it. PHP, Ruby, PHP, what's going on here? Settings, that's not it. Developer tools. Did they change something? Developers, where's my API keys? There they are. All right, publishable key, okay, publishable key. And then the secret key. And let's close that, and hopefully I don't open again. I mean, these are just test keys, so it really shouldn't be a big deal, but okay. Enough full screen me. There we go. Oh my goodness, look what I just did. Okay. Didn't even close the window behind me. All right, we'll rotate those. I'll rotate those. Let's go rotate these. How can I rotate these? API keys. Rotate key. Rotate. Oh, rotate the current key. Expiration may take a couple minutes. Once this key expires, you can't perform any actions. Rotate API key. Okay. Rotate API key. Rotating. We recommend reviewing. Okay, so fine. understand. The rotate API key thing throws me off. Once this key expires, you can't perform any actions with it. I don't understand that. They have an expiration date for the rotation of the key that's required, and the only options are like now. That doesn't make any sense. I'm assuming they mean the old key. Anyway, let's plug these in real fast. That is a huge key. All right. All right, let's make sure these work. All right, let me get off that screen, first of all. Silly. All right. Okay, let's go back. Let me make sure everything's closed. Close the env. Close Stripe, already did that. Okay, again, test keys that I can rotate. It's not a huge deal, but trying to be better about that. Sometimes I just get in the zone and I don't even care. Okay, here we go. Back to it. Okay, so again, I could rotate those keys. I don't know if I set that expiration right, so these may not end up working. So anyway, all right, so let's see what's going on. What's going on in the world here? Oh, hey everybody. Sorry, I didn't even see the chat. Steven, yes. Again, at least they're test keys. And again, I can rotate them. That would be my production keys. That would have been pretty bad. Fortunately, we were in test mode. Think first. Yes. The front camera on this iMac is definitely bad. They're bad in general, but in fairness to Apple and probably modern Macs, this iMac's like a 2019. This thing's old school. So anyway. Oh, they leaked. Oh, geez, yeah. Again, definitely would have been bad if those were production keys. I would have ended stream and rotated immediately. So, anyway, okay, again, we're in test mode. Everything's good. Okay, so what we want to see now, going back, npm install, we're done with that now. So if we do composer run dev, then basically I'll just, in the URL, what I would expect is that in the URL I can put in BaseCode -checkout, right? And we'll get sent over to Stripe to put in, order information. So we go here, this is just gonna give us the Laravel page, all good. And we say BaseCode checkout. This should redirect us. Oh, okay, so we haven't defined any of our routes. Okay, that's fine, Let's go fix this. So if we go into web, let's close these other ones. We don't need them anymore. Okay, so success URL. We need to make a route that they come back to. So let's just call this order.show, maybe. What do they actually see here? Let's just make a thank you. And then this goes back to order, right? Let's go make these routes. So let's just do route get. This doesn't really matter right now. This will be /thank you, right? And then we don't necessarily have a controller right now, so let's just make an empty function. We'll bring in request. Let's just dd request all. I don't think anything's going to be in here, of course, but let's just see what happens. And then we don't even need this to go back to order for now, but we do need these screens. So let's go back to the order page. We'll say order, and then we need to name these, of course. So name this thank. We'll drive these out in a second, but these are basically thank order, right? So if we go back, we should be able to refresh. Okay, cool. There we go. Okay, so it auto refreshed because of composer run dev. Here we go. So we can see here it goes out to test mode, BaseCode print edition, blah, blah, blah. I can add an image and all that kind of stuff. But basically, here's my payment options, right? Boom, 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 pay. So let's do it. We'll just do orders. We'll do the classic. Oh my God. You're killing me, Chrome. All right. Apparently I can't check out with these things. Okay, so let's go back to full screen me. I apologize. Let me fill this out so we can get back to the DD. 4,000 credit card numbers in here. All right, so we've got, let's just do the classic 4242 with a Stripe test card. We'll do, oh, you can't even do, I'm so used to doing the 424242 that you got to do like, do they allow 42? Wow, they do. Okay, so 2042. My name is JMac, and we'll do 40207 as me. All right, I'm gonna hit pay. No thanks. Please, Chrome, don't do that. Okay, all right, let's go back here. There's 2, there's me. Okay, so we got redirected back to thank you now. There's nothing in it. There's nothing in it. So we need to verify. This is where the webhooks come into play. We need to verify that they actually paid, right? Because you could theoretically you could hack this, right? Because it's probably just a GET request coming back. There's no stuff here. I think technically you get. I think you can. We'll look at the docs, but I think you can get like a session, and I can use that session to see if they've paid. We'll look at the docs, but if I remember right from working on WP Static, I think there's a way in the GET parameters to tell Stripe to give me that session ID from Stripe back, and then I can use that to actually do a real-time lookup. I don't have to wait for the webhook. Or it's a way to like double verify, I think. So let's go read about that. Yeah, really. Super leaky day today. Again, it's the last 4 digits. You'll be all right. But yeah, hilarious. I need like a prime link count or a leak count, right? So yeah, I should get stuff in the query params. Let's go look that up. All right, so let's go here. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's go look this up. I'm pretty sure there's a session ID. Let's go look up session ID. Yeah, here we go. There we go. Okay, so let's read about this for a second. So providing metadata to Stripe checkout, selling products, blah, 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 blah. You may need an existing order identifier. To accomplish this, you may provide metadata at checkout. Yes, 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 you're free to implement that. And there's the session ID. Here we go. As you can see in the example above, when a user begins the checkout process, we will provide all the cart order associated identifiers to the check. Of course, your application is responsible for associating these. We also provide the order IDs to Stripe checkout. Finally, we've added the checkout session ID template variable. There you go. To checkout success route. When Stripe redirects the customer back, you will get this with the checkout session ID. Okay. So yeah, here you go. So our success, we need to have a legitimate success route that then redirects you to the thank you page. I think that's probably the way to go. So let's make an invocable controller that kind of does the checkout success stuff, right? All right, let's build this. I want to do 2 more things. Let's see what time it is. I want to do 2 more things on this stream. I want to actually build a success where some order information's coming back, and then I want to use Blueprint to quickly generate some order model scaffolding for the actual like page, because you're not just gonna. The reason I'm not going straight to Stripe checkout and just using their link is that I want you to be able to like maybe say if you want it signed, and you can choose like a, you know, again, I don't have many copies of these. Like I want to make it fun. I want to do something where like it's saying like 33 left, and we can do some kind of like kind of like when you order tickets for a concert or anything. You have like 5 minutes to complete your purchase or whatever, right? And you know, because it's fun. I don't expect that much demand when these are sold, but like it's just fun. Why not, right? So, all right, let's go plug this in and get the Stripe session ID working. So we need to go back. Let's just, first of all, let's kill this. PHP artisan make controller. We'll call it checkout success, right? And then what do we need? Dash invoke. Is that right? Or is it invocable? I think it's just -I, right? There we go. All right. So let's go to checkout success, invocable controller. Great, get rid of that. We don't need that. Let's borrow this. Boom. Okay, so let's review this. We get session ID, and then basically let's just do an abort if is null. Let's just clean up this code a little bit. So let's abort if that, and we'll just straight up say like 404, right? Or we could say 400, I suppose. There you go. Bad data. All right, so let's bring in the session, and we'll say if payment status is not paid, then kind of same thing. We could just abort if. So if payment status is not paid, then let's just call it a 401. Are you unauthorized? It's not necessarily authorization, but like at the same time, like you shouldn't be seeing this screen. You're not authorized to see this screen. You haven't paid anything. It's not authorization in like a user login situation, but it is authorization in the fact that you haven't paid. You could go forbidden, but forbidden, I think if you look at the HTTP spec, I think forbidden implies that you're authenticated, but you're just not allowed to see this. And that's not the case. You truly shouldn't be here. Okay, so we're going to need order ID to come across. It's interesting. All of these like temporary variables are kind of surprising. Let's just do that, right? We don't have order, so that's next. And then we're going to say order update status completed. I don't think we'll have a status. I think what I would want, oh, is 402 payment? Oh, nice. Thank you, chat. Thanks, Steven. Let's go 402. Is that real? Payment required? I don't think I've ever used that. That's awesome. Definitely 402 then. You haven't paid. All right. What I'm going to do is change this to Stripe ID, or I think they call it like payment ID. I forget. But I think the point here is that I think if we go look at session, there's a way to get like payment. Yeah, there we go. Payment status, payment method. I think you can get like payment intent, payment ID. What is payment intent? It's a string. It'll be a string. Let's try that. Let's see what happens here. All right. So order doesn't exist. Order doesn't exist. So here's what we're going to do. We need to build order, but for now, I'm just going to DD. Let's DD session. Okay. So what do we need to do here? We need to link up checkout success to actually be a real thing now. So let's link this up. We'll leave the thank you page. And we'll say checkout success class. Okay. So the thank you page is now going to go there. That should do all of the code we just borrowed from the docs and kind of cleaned up a little bit. So we'll basically do that. I may get rid of the temporary variables, but we don't have any of this order stuff available yet. So for those reasons, I'm throwing the DD here, and then we'll switch to Blueprint to generate an order model that has some of the data we need on it, right? So let me, in an attempt not to leak yet again more data, let me just go full screen me again here for a second. I apologize. Let's go composer run dev. I'll go back to our BaseCode checkout. Okay, so I'll put in my email address. Let's do 424242424242. All right, and then we'll do, is that real? Oh my goodness. Part of me feels like Stripe, they know I'm in test mode. They have this little test mode badge here. I feel like they should disable autocomplete on those fields, personally. Just in test mode. Help with the leaks, right? Oh, I didn't put the session ID thing in the template. Hold on, we gotta fix that. I gotta add that session ID placeholder in the callback. I didn't do that, so it didn't know what session ID was. All right, let me go fix that, and then I'll show it. I'll show the updated code here in just a second. All right, let me go back. Let's go back. Let's go forward, refresh. All right, not the thank you page. Let's go to BaseCode checkout. Okay, it's gonna redirect me again. No leaking of information. 4242424242. 0242 4242. JMac is my name. 40207. All right. Pay. Okay, session ID link should be in there. Going back. Okay, good. We got a DD now. Let me turn this back on. All right. Let's go back to sharing screen. Cool. All right. So here we go. Here's everything that came across. Here we go. Payment intent is indeed a string. Perfect. I'm fine with that. Mode payment. So somewhere in here, there's like a status that says paid, right? Status is complete. Oh no, payment status paid. There we go. So we are checking for that. Okay, so two things in the code that I changed. First of all, we threw on this session ID, checkout session ID. Cool. And then in here, we are checking for paid. We got the 402 thing. Awesome. Awesome, by the way, on that status code. We're DDing out session. So we don't have order metadata. Okay, so we need to do that first. We need to do some order metadata that's happening there. So let's fix that. So we need to pass metadata in our order. And then the other thing we did, again, we added this session ID here. So let's go here. And then we won't have an order ID right now. So for now, I'm just going to put like, you know, to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. So this is pretty good. We've hooked up Cashier. We've gotten Stripe. We've gotten success. It's going to come back. We basically have the code to save the order and give them effectively a thank you page, right? So what we're missing now are basically the forms. We're missing the actual page, the e-commerce page, to kind of say, here's BaseCode, here's what you're getting. Give me your email address and then let me know like if you want it signed or not. So just a real simple checkout form. We need a controller that then saves that order and then kicks you to Stripe, right? So the order needs to get saved. Now we don't have an order model, as you can see here. So let's make the order model and that'll be the end of today's stream. And to do that, let's kill this. Let's do a get add dot on all of this. Oh yeah, see here, create customer, subscription. Yeah, see, going back to those migrations that I mentioned before, I don't really need these, but I don't want Cashier to throw some kind of weird error because they're not here. But I'm not doing any subscriptions. I'm not even doing any kind of saved customer information. You won't be building a Stripe customer or saving cards or anything. So even these columns aren't necessary. But again, I don't want Cashier to look for them and them not be there and some kind of error happens. So I went ahead and generated those, but we're really not using much of Cashier at all other than to make the checkout link, which again, I could pre-generate in Stripe and just redirect you there. So don't really need Cashier in this case. It's pretty heavy, but you know, again, for learning, it's fun. All right, so let's do this. We'll just call this whip Stripe checkout. All right. And then I want to do composer require dev Laravel dash shift blueprint. All right. Let that install. We'll make a draft file with PHP artisan blueprint init. All right, it traced our user model and it's got that. Okay, cool. So now let's go back here. Let me get into the draft file. So what do we need here? We really just need, what do we need? We need an order model with some fields. And we know that some of the fields in here will be like Stripe ID or payment ID or whatever we want to call it. That'll just be a string. We're gonna probably want their email address. I'm not gonna make a user. We could make a user that can't sign in and this, that, and the other thing. We don't even need all that. So I'm just gonna have an email address here. What else do we need? And then we talked about we need to know like their signing option, right? So let's say signed, and then we'll make that a Boolean. And then it's kind of like what do they want? What kind of signing option do they want? So you can say no signing, but if you say signing, maybe I have two options. Maybe I sign it just like with whatever. I can say, you know, like there's a custom. Maybe I'll do something silly like, you know, choose one of the random inspire quotes, right? Like, so what is that? If you go like PHP artisan inspire, like here you go. Yeah. So you could, maybe one of the options is like inspire, and I'll choose one of these quotes for you and put it in there, you know, whatever, we'll see. So I'll just call this option for now, and this will probably be a string, but we'll make it an enum. Okay, and then the final thing is, I don't know if order really needs much else. I can't think what else order would need. Again, this is pretty lightweight. There's no product ID or anything because there's only one. I could put email on user, but then I got to make a user, and it doesn't really matter. The email address is just a way for me to contact you about that your order's ready or whatever. So we will need an order controller, and really this is just create and store. Create will be the view, store will be where we actually save that and then kick you to Stripe, right? So this is Blueprint. This is all you need to do right here. This is going to generate me an order model, the migration for it, a factory. I'm going to make a controller, a resourceful controller based on that order, but only the create and store methods. So let's check this out. I've demoed Blueprint before, but for the new watchers, so PHP artisan blueprint build. There we go. Okay, so we see here that it makes an order controller, it makes the factory, makes the migration, makes the model, makes a test for the controller, makes a request for the store action, form request, and then actually generates the view for create, which we'll fill in with the form, and it updates our routes file. So let's go take a look at all this code. I don't need the draft file anymore. Let's go back to web. So we have route resource orders, app controller order, only create and store. Beautiful. I'm going to change this to just order. And now we don't need this anymore. And we'll go back. We'll change the success to be order dot create, right? I'm sorry. I'm thinking this is kind of like one of those like singular route resource, or sorry, singular controller resources. So it's like if you got kicked back to order create, you know, we'd probably want to show your options again, right? So we can do that with session. It's not a big deal, but that's what I was thinking, was like order create probably needs to have a little bit of memory to it, right? Okay, so order controller, there we go. View order create, and then store basically, you know, does all this. But now we're actually going to redirect you to here. So this BaseCode checkout can actually go away. So let's get rid of that. So now we should be able to kind of undo some of the DDs. So instead of redirecting to order index, which doesn't exist, we're actually going to redirect you to the checkout link. And here's where we could say, like, you know, order equals the order that's saved, right? So here we go. We got this request validated. We got all this stuff. If we go look at this, we don't need these comments, but here's the rules. It's required. It's email. It's signed. It's, you know, required. Option's probably not required. And then Stripe ID is going to get saved after the fact. So there we go. Cleaned that up. I don't know why that's mad. I think it's just formatting. Okay, so now we should be able to get rid of that, right? We should now be able to bring in order. There you go. And we should be able to save the Stripe ID as the payment intent. And then we go into checkout success. And really, I'll just call this like order.show, right? And let's go see if that view's there. So resources, views, order. Let's just copy that and make one for show. And then the final thing I want to do, don't ask again, cancel, close that. Let's clear this vendor bin pint. Let's clean everything up. Awesome. Okay. And then, yeah. Okay, so this is basically git commit -m whip order checkout, right? Okay, so a lot of whips today, but basically we've hooked up Stripe. We're able, from an order form, we need to build that form, but from an order form we should save an order, get redirected with all the appropriate stuff, right? So now order ID is actually here, so let's just fill that in real quick, order ID. We're gonna flash that to the session. We probably don't need that. So yeah, we create the order and we send it across. Well, you know what? Here's that memory we were talking about. Let's actually put order ID. Let's put that in the session. Let's put that in the session. Because now we can do cooler things with this too. We can not only put it in the session if you canceled, but then we could also make sure that the order ID in your session redirected back from Stripe, you know, that all matches, and, you know, just another layer of kind of, you know, some authorization that happens internally there. So yeah, no big deal there. But let's keep it as the point. So let's do get add dot, let's do get append. All right, cool. I'll make a repo for this. The final thing, Tailwind UI. I think the final thing is, let's just check out a template here. Where are their templates? Or is it UI blocks or components? What do they call these now? I always forget. Yeah, here's e-commerce. E-commerce. I thought they had like a product. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, I basically am just gonna find one of these and like, yeah, I'll find one of these and we'll see what makes sense. I mean, it's a pretty straightforward product. I mean, this is probably, you know, I don't need all the stuff around it, but the point is I'll go get one of these off stream, strip it down, and next Wednesday we will work on the form and making sure it's all finalized. And, you know, here's the thing, you'll just basically, and instead of the stars, we can say like 33 left or something like that. So that'll all be fun. So we'll work on the customizations next week. Today was Cashier, the base models, and going from there. So, all right. Cool, everybody. Is the return type wrong? Oh, sorry. Let's see here. Let me catch up on the chat. Okay, so JMac leak count. Yeah, at least two. At least two. Yeah, if you count all the keys and the 4 digits, yeah, the leak count was probably like 20. Is the return type wrong? Probably. Redirect response. That seems good. Is there a return type here? View. I'm not sure which return, Morton, I'm not sure which return types you were referencing. Oh, does this return? What does this return? Can't see it because of the chat. What does this return? Checkout. That's interesting. What is checkout? Laravel Cashier checkout implements arrayable responsible. Interesting. So I guess that should be that. Maybe that's the one you're talking about. In these kind of situations, like, honestly, I just get rid of the return type. It's unfortunate because, like, I wish when Laravel kind of went towards return types, they spent, and responsible's close in fairness, but I wish they did, even if it's just like for show, I wish they did like a base thing, right? Like a base response. And everything, I understand this would be hard to do in breaking changes, but like, and that's why they didn't do it. But it would be nice if there was just like a straight up, like, you know, Laravel response or something, you know, not named that. But the point is there's some base thing that views and redirections and all that stuff. We're like, responsible is probably close if we go look at it, but it's not all of them, right? Like what is, yeah, see, it's got a 2 response. Like view doesn't have 2 response, so views wouldn't work here. So that's kind of my point. Like I wish responsible somehow was thrown on the view as well, right? Like it doesn't take anything to throw a contract on something just to be able to say that. But it also doesn't give you much as far as the type hint, because then everything's a responsible. So I think if you wanted to be strict about this, checkout is the way to go. But I think in these cases, I would just get rid of it. In the event that there was an error or something like that, or this didn't return what was expected, I don't know. Checkout's probably the right one to do. Anyway, what else was in the chat? JT, hey man, what's going on? All right. Okay, cool. That was okay. So yeah, checkout would be the right return type to throw there based on, you know, the deep dive, but otherwise. That's it. Okay. Well, thanks everybody for joining and watching all my leaks. But yeah, there you go. We've got the basis of, you know, basically all of the backend written for being able to order, to purchase a product, right? In this case, a printed copy of BaseCode. So, and we did it in 40 minutes-ish. Less if you avoided all my leaks. So anyway, thanks everybody for joining live. See you next Wednesday. We'll finish this up.